It looks like President Trump is gearing up for a trade war. But in this kind of fight, does anybody really win? Economists are warning about hypothetical scenarios where Trump takes it too far and other countries strike back, inevitably sending the global trade community down a spiraling path of retaliation. Meanwhile, U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross says they're not trying to blow up the world with tariffs. No one knows exactly what'll happen when the new tariffs go into effect, but if history is any indicator, we can make a pretty good guess. Here's what happened during the last major trade war. Let's take it back to the 1930s. America was turning inward with protectionist policy. The government was restricting trade with other countries, and in an effort to save U.S. factories, a couple of congressmen came up with a plan. It was formally called the Tariff Act of 1930, but it's more commonly known as the SMOOT-HAWLEY Tariff Act. The plan faced a lot of opposition at the time, but it ultimately became law. The act raised tariffs on American imports to nearly record levels, but instead of reviving the economy, it actually exacerbated the Great Depression. Countries around the world were striking each other with tit-for-tat tariffs. European countries put a tax on American goods. That slowed trade between the US and Europe, making it harder for the US to crawl out of its economic slump. Nationalist rhetoric was heating up, with countries blaming each other for their struggles. All of that eventually escalated, turning a trade war into a real war. That's why, after the war ended, countries formed the World Trade Organization to regulate international trade, in the hopes that nothing like the global trade war of the 1930s would ever happen again. Fast forward to today, here's what's at stake.
Make America wealthy again. Have to do it. We're 30 miles from Steel City. Pittsburgh played a central role in building our nation.
A key part of Trump's base is U.S. factory workers, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that he's pushing to revive U.S. factories. But China isn't even one of the top 10 steel importers to the U.S. That's actually Canada and Brazil. And while Trump's tariff plan may appeal to his base of U.S. factory workers, a number of other groups that usually have Trump's back are speaking out against it. U.S. businesses that import steel, like car manufacturers, and aluminum importers like beer can makers are asking him to rethink the plan. Trump's chief economic advisor, Gary Cohn, left the White House just after the plan was announced. And now, lawmakers from his own party are begging him not to do it.
There is a lot of concern among Republican senators that this could sort of metastasize into a larger trade war.
Wall Street wasn't too happy about the plan either. When Trump announced the tariffs for the first time on March 1st, the Dow closed more than 400 points lower. And when reports of Gary Cohn's resignation broke, the Dow fell more than 100 points. But despite the mounting opposition, Trump just doesn't seem to care. Just a day after he floated the idea of tariffs, he tweeted that trade wars are, quote, good and easy to win. On March 8th, Trump signed a presidential proclamation. He was surrounded by some of his top advisors and a carefully arranged group of factory workers, the very people who helped get him elected. And he sure didn't let anyone forget it.
Our industries have been targeted for years and years, decades in fact, by unfair foreign trade practices leading to the shuttered plants and mills, the laying off of millions of workers, and the decimation of entire communities.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.